So these are some of the recent headlines that are coming out about the Colorado Bureau of Investigation's analyst who falsified, tampered, and mishandled DNA evidence, purposely deleted and falsified test results, and then reported on those test results. So the former analyst, Missy Woods, who worked for CBI for nearly 30 years, is now being charged with over 100 felony counts related to forgery, falsifying official government documents, cybersecurity, etc. This is a major case. It is still active and ongoing, but it is probably the most notable since How to Fix a Drug Scandal came out on Netflix. So I kind of wanted to share with you in two parts. In this first video, I want to just give you some background on the case, what's going on up until this point. And then in the second video, I kind of want to share with you my thoughts, my opinions, my perspectives on this case as someone who is active in the forensic discipline. So just to give you guys a little bit of background, Colorado Bureau of Investigations conducts testing for multiple agencies across the state of Colorado. So some articles are reporting that because it's a state lab, there are over 24 agencies within Colorado that were sent false or incorrect reports. I particularly like a article that the Washington Post put out. It goes into a little bit more detail. But it talks about how basically this is not the first time that this analyst was questioned or investigated on because of issues that arose with her reporting and the test that she conducted. So in 2014 was the first time that she was called into question. The second time was in 2018. Now, in 2018, a colleague noted that there was evidence of cross-contamination and a DNA test that she had conducted. And because of this, Ms. Woods was placed on administrative leave pending the result of that investigation. And so I don't know what happened. There was obviously some sort of internal investigation conducted, I'm assuming, but it does not appear that there is any form of discipline, or if there was, it's noted in her personal file, which as a general public, we wouldn't know. But she did go back to work and return to her normal duties after that. So in this recent case, what happened was a intern was doing a research study and basically started coming across discrepancies. And this was in 2023. So she started coming across discrepancies in case files and reports. And basically, one thing led to another, and it snowballed into finding case after case after case where test results were deleted or manipulated in some way, shape, or form. So some articles are saying that there are 600, 800, even over 1,000 cases that are now affected because she was on the case in one way, shape, or another. So it's not a small number. It's not 20 or 30 or even 40 or 50 or 100. It's looks like a minimum of 650 cases that are affected because of her involvement as the analyst in these cases. So this is massive. These are all cases that now have to be reanalyzed or looked at again to determine if the results were true and accurate or not. So when she was questioned by investigators, she was asked, like, why did you do this? What was the purpose of doing this? And she basically said that she falsified results to move cases along quickly and to avoid additional work. And she also stated to investigators that some mistakes occurred during rush DNA analysis requests, and that she intentionally deleted files and samples on multiple occasions. And so these are cases that are crimes against person cases. These are homicides, sexual assault crimes. She would basically delete profiles of male contributors in sexual assault crimes or homicides, which, these could have been potential suspects in these cases, but we didn't know, and we may not know until those cases are reanalyzed to determine whether or not the results were accurate. And so it's just mind-boggling to me that somebody walks into work and thinks that this is okay to do. But when she was asked, why did you do this? What was the benefit of doing this? For manipulating data, she said that it was to be able to report the case. Being able to report the case. And when she was asked if it was to quickly move that case along, she said yes. So basically, what she wanted to do was just close out a case. She wasn't concerned so much whether or not the result was accurate, but that basically the case was closed and it was done, and it was off her desk onto the next thing. One less thing to have to deal with. Now, I don't know how many of those cases she testified on, but she clearly did have to testify, as she is a DNA analyst, was a DNA analyst, excuse me. She is no longer with CBI. She retired in 2023. But this is a major lab scandal. Like I said, it's huge. It violates every code of ethics and morals across society, culturally, within the scientific community, the forensic community, the law enforcement community, all kinds of communities. Every single community is affected by this case, whether you are active in forensics or law enforcement, or you're not, you're general public, you're Joe Schmo down the street. It affects every single person, because somebody could have been wrongfully convicted and is now sitting in prison, or have been sitting in prison for 5, 10, 15 years because of false reporting. And then there's probably victims who their cases were closed erroneously and early, because she reported that there was no DNA present to indicate so-and-so could have been a suspect, that she deleted those contributors or those test results. So there are probably cases where victims and families of these victims never got justice, never got closure, and all of these cases now have to be reanalyzed to kind of figure out like what is right, what's wrong, like who's wrongfully convicted, what cases need to be reopened, can they be reopened, is the statute of limitations long past and these cases are now too old to be reopened. Hopefully not, but it's a real shame that there are people who could have been wrongfully convicted, or that just plain never got justice as a victim. So, this is it's a huge miscarriage of justice, and obviously it elicits a lot of strong emotions from me. But I do want to share a little bit more about my opinion on this in a later video. But I hope you found this video to be helpful, and I do want to leave you guys with a question, because this is the question that we ultimately have for this is, well, number one, what are the consequences of this case for her, for the Bureau, but also for the discipline? And how did this happen? How did we get to this point? How did she get to this point where she walked into work and decided that she was going to willfully manipulate, falsify data and report on that data? And then what are we going to do? How do we prevent this from happening again? How do we prevent how to fix a drug scandal in this particular case? And there's other cases that just aren't as notable. But how do we prevent this from happening in the future? So those are just some of the things to think about as this case is progressing, and hopefully, there will be resolution soon, within the next couple weeks, hopefully. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I would love to know what your thoughts are, so leave your comments below, and don't forget to follow if you're not already following, and hello if you are a new follower, subscriber, whatever. Nice to meet you all in this crazy video, but stay tuned for part 2 where I dive in a little bit more. And again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys at the next one.